show a couple things. One is check out the animation for running in cat form. It might look normal to you, might not, but you can feel the difference. It feels slower even though you're running at the same pace. Kind of strange. Just a minor thing, but I've noticed it with rogue stealth too. It's like they changed the animation to be a little bit slower, yet you're still moving at the same pace. I don't know, it's kind of weird. Anyway, the thing I really wanted to show you is this. So if you got all of your artifact appearances for the different specs in Legion, you can now change each of your forms for any given spec. So you can change to any of these and have them as your bear form while you're in Feral or Resto, not just Guardian. You can have your baseline, you know, Zandalai, or you can have your artifact appearances, which is great. That's the one I like. And you can do the same with your cat forms. Moon Spirit's pretty lame. The rest of these are really cool. So the big thing is there, like as you can see here, I actually have my polearm transmog to a polearm that I like, rather than having to transmog it to Fangs of Ashamain, you know, the daggers, just to have that cat appearance. Or now you can mog your weapon, still have the appearance you want. So, awesome stuff. What's not so awesome is that after you visit a barber, it still zooms your camera all the way in, so you have to change it back out, but yeah. I thought that was a really, really cool change. A lot of us are into transmogs and appearances in this game. So I'm sure a lot of people will love that as much as I do. So I wanted to show you guys that real quick. Alright, so I thought I'd show a little snippet of some of the barber changes. I think I already showed the druid one for the forms, but this stuff is really cool. So you can change your gender now from the Barber Shop, which is amazing. You can also add tattoos. Limited amount for now, but still really freaking cool. You can add war paint if you want. Go back to none on that and just add war paint. A few options on that. And then you can change the war paint color. The red's pretty cool. Go with that. There's a bunch of new jewelry options as well, not just the standard few, but you can also get bones and stuff as well now. Hoops, some more bones, looks like, on the back, or tusks rather. Yeah, so a lot more new options there, which is pretty cool. That one's kind of subtle. I like that one. Just kind of got it dangling in the back. Different nose ring types with tusks now instead of just the hoop. Actually, there's just two options, the hoop or the, like, so the bull ring or the tusks coming out, which is kind of weird, but you know, if you like that kind of thing. You can add necklaces now, which is pretty cool. There's only 2 at the moment, but change your skin color. You can preview that. That's nothing new, but I was hoping... Yeah, there are some new changes for sure. Like, that's a much darker green than we had available before. I mean, I can see why they didn't add browns and stuff, because then you'd basically be a Magar, and that would, you know, kind of trivialize the allied races. So, it's unfortunate, but at the same time, I get why they didn't do that. You can add scars. Kind of cool. So yeah, completely new look, and you can change your, you know, male to female or what have you. Alright, so I figured I'd come to a dummy and perform some rotations. It's kind of mixed right now. Yeah, once we get Shiv rank 2, which I could get in another level, I'm 55 at the moment. It may be worth using just to get that extra nature damage for 9 seconds, but Shiv does really low damage. I mean, you can see on the tooltip it says it does 4 damage. And I'm sure that's not quite accurate because it's not factoring in everything, but still, it's 1 combo point, really low damage. So, even with rank 2, I'm not sure it'll be worth it. I'm sure it will in PvP, but PvE, I don't know. So, but for right now, running Alacrity, and I'll show you an Exsanguinate too. Unless they buff that, I don't know if it'll be worth it, to be honest, just because the change to Alacrity is now, you know, affects Assassination, gives you haste, which affects your poisons, your bleeds, energy regen, everything, so I don't know. Can't really see this being worth it, but, you know, we'll see. Same with the blind side, I'm not sure that that'll see much use, maybe. Now that we have ambush back, it'll be decent, but for now, this is what I'm running here. So, with this setup, I'll probably do Garrote into Garrote into Vendetta into ambush, get my Rupture up, and then from there get Slice and Dice up, and continue through, you know, the rotation. But we'll try Exsanguinate here in a second too. So Garrote, get an ambush in, get my Rupture, Slice and Dice. Pretty simple. We don't have Toxic Blade anymore, which really sucks. I think what they're trying to do is give Shiv that functionality to an extent. It doesn't do the damage that Toxic Blade does, but it does increase your nature damage done to the target. So, yeah, I don't know. And tuning's not done, so maybe they will buff up the damage of Shiv a little bit at least, to make it more worth using rotationally in PvE. Because in PvP, I mean, getting that extra nature damage is good. You know, plus it's not as punishing because you're not doing a strict rotation in PvP. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it could definitely be more worth it there just to throw it in like that. But purely conjecture at this point. So because Exsanguinate's all about bleeds, excuse me, I think my opener would be more like it is on live when I use Exsanguinate, which is pretty rare, but I mess around with it, which would be Garrote into Vendetta into Regarrote to get the pandemic effect, get up a full Rupture, and then Exsanguinate. And then, you know, build combo points to get Slice and Dice up. I don't know, this is where I, you know, another reason I wish they would tweak Slice and Dice to not just be attack speed, because that could really help buff Exsanguinate. You know, if you were to Garrote, Vendetta, Garrote, Slice and Dice, get up your Rupture, then Regarrote, and then Exsanguinate, you'd have full duration on your bleeds, but, you know, while Exsanguinate is rolling, you know, you would be having them tick even faster because of the haste, but it's just attack speed, so it doesn't matter. But who knows what they'll end up doing. This is probably the final product, but, you know, let's go through it. So, Garrote, Vendetta, Garrote, Exsanguinate, Slice and Dice, Garrote, so yeah, not terribly exciting, but, you know, makes them bleed out faster, which gives you energy back faster, and obviously a little bit of burst on your bleeds, you know. But honestly, like, I don't know if you guys can see it, but you can feel it when you're playing it. Without Alacrity, energy regen feels really bad right now with Exsanguinate, you know, and losing Alacrity. So that, you know, maybe Exsanguinate will come into play like later in the expansion once we get some more haste and things like that. I can't see it being good early on just because, you know, our lack of secondary stats. It's gonna feel really bad. So yeah, who knows there, but real quick. You can see, you know, everything you have here is pretty much the same, except Roll of Bones is now a cooldown, which is cool. I like that. As for now, I'm pretty much using the same build I used on live for it. Obviously, Dancing Steel won't affect us here because that's, you know, Blade Flurry, AoE shit. Could show you Killing Spree, I guess. I'll show you. Between the Eyes, that's a big change. It not only has a 45-second cooldown now, but it increases your crit and your crit damage. So you want to put that up before you know, once you get to 6 points or 5 if you're running Vigor or Marked for Death. You want to put that up before you actually go into the rest of your rotation because, you know, for obvious reasons there. But yeah, the rest of it is, like I said, pretty much the same with the exception of that. Gives you a buff in your rotation, and then Roll the Bones is now a cooldown. So you just get, it's still random, completely random. But, you know, hopefully it'll be more powerful when you do put it up. Hoping that's the case, because I mean that's 50 energy and a 45-second cooldown, so they definitely need to make it worth it. You know, it can't be as bad as it is on live right now. So yeah, we'll kind of go through this and see where's my. I actually need to put between the eyes back on it. There we go. Alright, so I'll open with Ambush, go into Adrenaline Rush and Blood Flurry, or Blood Fury, since I'm Orc. And, you know, get my buffs up and stuff. And then Killing Spree, hopefully. Not used to this rotation, but we'll see. So Ambush. Build up my combo points, get up my roll bones. In the eyes. And you can see the cooldown for between the eyes isn't nearly as bad as it seems, because you still do have that reduction. See, so I put it back up. Same with Roll the Bones. Like, those get reduced the same way they do on live. But yeah, you can see the rotation is very simplistic and boring. You have Kidney Shot back, which is kind of cool that they did that change to between the eyes, but still allowed us to have a stun. So now you just between the eyes, get your buff up, and then whenever you want to stun, it isn't tied to, you know, your main damage like it is on live. Show some sub. And I don't think I reapplied my poisons for Outlaw. Do get your 3 poisons back, like the old school days. Instant poison, crippling, and numbing. These 2 are across the board, and then not instant is for outlaw and sub. And then when you switch to assassination, instant becomes deadly. But yeah, other than that, it's the same across the board. Sub is pretty boring too, if I'm honest. It got a cool new AoE that's kind of underwhelming in damage right now, but we'll ignore the tuning because, like I said, the tuning process isn't really done. It's more about the mechanics of the play, you know, the different specs and how it feels and whatnot. So we will have Cold Blood, just because I am in war mode. You won't have that for PvE, but Shadow Blades as well feels pretty underwhelming at the moment. But, you know, it's the same functionality as it's always been, so we'll ignore the tuning. You know, like I said before, Shadow Dance is back to 1 charge. Unless you take, what is it? Yeah, Enveloping Shadows, which I don't know, you know, which one to use right now, to be honest. I had Dark Shadow by default just because that's what I played for sub and BFA. But Enveloping Shadows does buff your Deepening Shadows and gives you an extra dance charge, so could be worth it, but might be more of a PvP thing, right? so I don't know there. Secret technique, I could show you that, but it's really an AoE like Mythic Plus and Raid type thing, especially Mythic Plus. Shuriken Tornado just seems really underwhelming, but maybe we can show that to you. So this one across the board seems the best all around right now, and then this obviously you'll want for Mythic Plus. Yeah, so there won't be anything to really show you with enveloping. If I switch to that, it's just an extra dance charge, and it buffs up, you know, your deepening so that you're getting dance back quicker, but it doesn't really change what I'm doing rotationally, right? Because you're just getting more dance time. Prey on the Weak is probably going to be where it's at. It's been that way for a while. I'm running Soothing right now, just while I'm questing, you know, extra health. But PvP, you'd be running this. Mythic Plus and Raid, you'd probably be running Cheat Death. I don't know which one of these is the move right now. I'm assuming Vigor will be to start, because we don't have as much haste and things like that. But I'm still running Deep Strat just because that's what I was already running. Same thing here. I'm not sure what the move's going to be just yet, but I'm thinking the Shadow Focus, just because, once again, very little haste, so costing less energy while dance is up is really good. Coming soon, hopefully this is something really cool, because Gloomblade I think is going to be a thing for raids. That way you can find weakness up more outside of dance. You know, when you crit with a backstab, you're going to get find weakness. So outside of dance, that's gonna give you sustained. Weapon Master is kind of cool. 15% chance to hit twice with both backstab and shadow strike. But I'll just kind of show you Gloomblade. Yeah, I'm really hoping this is something fun, right? But rotationally, it's pretty simple. You get Rupture back, you get Slice and Dice back. But outside of that, it's really the same with one added AoE spell. So, you know, you get your standard Shuriken or your Shuriken Storm, and then once you get combo points, you get some combo points here, you can see. Then you get Shadow Vault, which is just that. Alright, so let's do non-crit. Okay, so that was 185 to 190-ish for Shuriken Storm, and then for a 5-point Shadow Vault, 167. So you can see the damage tuning right now doesn't look very good. When you're doing more damage with your builder than you are with your finisher, that doesn't feel good. That should never be a thing. But the ability itself is kind of cool. You know, it could prevent you from getting knocked back on certain mechanics. Just hit that, and it's going to be a lot like Whirling Dragon Punch. It's just going to keep you in place instead of knocking you back. So, cool functionality. Hopefully it'll be tuned better. I assume it will, because I can't see that, you know, going live that way. Alright, quick sub-rotation. I'll be using Gloomblade, all the stuff I showed earlier as well. And I'll start pre-opener with Shadow Blades, just to kind of boost the damage and combo point gen. And what you want to do is ride out that Find Weakness buff, and then once that's dropping, then you want to Shadow Dance. So I'm going to save Shadow Dance and Symbols of Death for the end of the first Find Weakness, right? So pretty simple. The other thing I wanted to just mention real quick too is Echoing Reprimand, one of the Kyrian abilities. Like, I'll preface it by saying I don't know if rogues are going to go with Kyrian, right? Don't know that. But if they do for some reason, this does not work very well with anything except Outlaw. And the reason is, as sub, you're constantly gaining free combo points, right? And you also have abilities like Backstab that only generate 1, and then Shadow Strike generates 2. So that, on top of the fact that you're gaining extra combo points, which you can't predict, right? Yeah, Shadow Techniques. Your auto attacks have a chance to generate an extra combo point at any time. So that alone is a hindrance to this ability, because if it stops on 2 or 3 combo points, and that's what you need to be able to get your 7-point finisher from this ability, that could just, no matter how well you play it, that could easily just change like that. You know what I mean? In the blink of an eye, and then all of a sudden you have 3 instead of 2 when you go to use that ability, and it's just wasted. And it's already on like a 45-second cooldown, so kind of needs a rework already. Just saying. Anyway, we'll go into this. Like I said, I'll pre-Shadow Blades, and then I'll go get my Rupture, my Slice and Dice, and all that up. As Find Weakness is dropping, then we'll Shadow Dance and use Blades, or Symbols of Death. Shadow Strike, Shadow Strike, get up Slice and Dice, get another free combo point in there, Rupture. We'll put up a Prey on the Weak here, and then we'll Shadow Dance, Symbols of Death, finish, Shadow Dance. Reapply Rupture, then I'll have to reapply Slice and Dice. Reapply that. And then we have Dance coming up in about 10 seconds. We could Vanish in between, which is probably the move, when you're actually doing your rotation. Once Find Weakness drops off from your Dance, you're going to have a little downtime. So you probably want to Vanish, get that back up. Once Find Weakness is down again, then Dance, and Symbols of Death will be back up, so you can go back into that. So, yeah, sub, super simple, but all about just keeping that Find Weakness time up. So, there you go. Yeah, and one more, I guess, statement, since we're on the subject of sub. The WAD model, Warlords of Draenor, that sub model was perfect. And the reason is, you had Slice and Dice and Rupture, which they brought back, but the Slice and Dice was different. It actually affected energy regen. Now it's just a flat attack speed buff, right? There's no energy regen tied to it. So the fact that you had Slice and Dice with that functionality plus premeditation back then, which we're not getting back, at least so far, I really hope that they'll bring that back. Maybe they'll put it in Coming Soon or something. I don't know. I'd love to see that come back, because it helps separate, a bad or a mediocre sub-rogue from a good one or a great one. Because basically, before you opened, you'd hit pre-med and you'd get a 2-point Slice and Dice, and then that would give you enough energy to actually perform a full opening rotation without being energy starved, right? And stuff like that, really added a lot of flavor and skill cap to sub that just isn't there now. So I just kind of wanted to mention that, and you know, hopefully someone will hear it and spread the word and so on and so forth. I feel like those things, the more people hear them and agree with them and kind of spread the word, that's usually the best way to affect change, is just through word of mouth, you know. And I don't have much reach myself. My YouTube channel isn't huge. I don't really do much on Twitter, etc. So, you know, if you agree with that, if you experienced that back in Warlords of Draenor and MoP and want to see it come back because sub is so just dumbed down now and a bit boring, then spread the word, you know what I mean? And maybe you'll talk to somebody that just has that kind of reach and happens to agree with you, and you know, then it gets spread to a lot more people, and all of a sudden, you know, we might be able to affect change. Because I feel like sub is just so watered down, and you know, don't buy into that whole skill cap thing about sub anymore. You know, there are plenty of people that are still running around like, you know, if you have skill, play sub. That used to be the thing, for sure. I'm not arguing that, and I agree with it, but that's no longer been the case, and it hasn't been since Legion. Because after WoD, they completely changed sub, and that skill cap was gone. You know, the only skill cap you have with it now, honestly, is in a little bit in PvP, because you can sap during dance. You know, you have to know who to use your cheap shots on and who to use your kidney shot on. So there's a little bit of a skill cap there in PvP, but it's not like it was at all. So anyway, just want to kind of mention that, and hopefully someone will listen and agree and spread the word, because I'd love to see sub come back in its true form. And it was just so much fun, man. If you experienced it, let me know in the comments. Let me know what you think, whether you agree or disagree. You know, let me know, because sub's always been my favorite spec. Well, I say always, but I mean, you know, pre-Legion, basically. It was always my favorite spec. But it's changed for the worse, like so drastically. So anyway, kind of rambling here, but I just wanted to get that out. Alright, try another assassination rotation. I want to test deeper stratagem now. See how it feels losing the extra energy and energy regen to gain bigger finishers. You know, but losing this, maybe the haste from alacrity will counteract that a bit. And work out overall better, because the haste is going to give you, you know, energy regen, poison ticks faster, bleeds ticks you know, they tick faster. So it could actually work out. You know, obviously when you're leveling, you're probably going to want Mark for Death, just because you're going to be killing stuff constantly. But, you know, for the sake of testing, bigger versus deeper strat. Yeah, let's check it out. Poisons up. Yeah. So throat, ambush, 4 to 6, pressure, mutilate to 6 again, slice and dice, vanish for a reload, an ambush in there, mutilate. Yeah, and that's the other thing too with deeper strat. Your Venom buff is going to last longer. So you have another window to re-envenom while your envenom buff is still up. So it's cool here. Venom, mutilate, back up to 6, and see if we can re-envenom while it's still up. Corrode back up, yeah, look at that attack speed damage. It's kind of nutty. Slice and dice back up. And that's the one thing too, is maintaining rupture, corrode, and now slice and dice on top of your envenom buff. Like, there's a lot of maintenance. Just by adding back in slice and dice, there's a lot more maintenance. Re-envenom while that was up. Corrode back up. And after rupture, so you won't be getting as many envenoms if you're trying to keep slice and dice up all the time. But, you know, I think slice and dice is going to be worth keeping up for sure, because it's not only more white damage, but more poison application. So yeah, I'm sure, you know, we'll see some theory crafters like go hard with the testing and let us know for sure. But I think it's going to be worth keeping up, even if it means losing a bit of envenom damage. But anyway, back to the chest at hand. It feels pretty good. Like, we can notice the loss of energy regen from Vigor, but Alacrity right there. Yeah, I mean 10% haste definitely, it helps it out for sure. So it doesn't feel that bad. So that could be a thing, right? Maybe once we get to level cap, start doing dungeons, that could be a thing for sure. Combining those two while we're leveling. Like I said, this will be the move, I think. But yeah, I mean, both of those feel pretty good. This feels smoother, but you know, this will give you more time on your rupture, your slice and dice, keep your envenom buff up for longer, and on top of it, just get more damage out of your envenom. So might be a thing. Maybe we'll have enough haste by the time we get to cap. It won't feel quite as slow. So yeah, just wanted to throw that test in there too. Some cool new NPCs. Successive clicking wizard. You have to click to make the ooze collect it, and then you have to collect it off him. Come on. guy gonna hurt? Yeah, maybe not. Leave shit everywhere. Put that on his ass. You can see at level 56, a blue item is still only approaching the level of gear you'll have from 120.